Hi everyone, it's Rax. The PTR patch notes and everything is up for Season 18, and I have been playing this all day long. Right now I'm Paragon 800, I'm rank 1 in solo 2s, 3s, and 4s. It's been a good day, I've learned a lot of things, so let me take you through the patch notes and give you my opinion on it, and let's see what's all coming, and then I'll show you actual gameplay from the season. And we actually did take the time to make a new character on the seasonal, started with nothing, leveled to 70, and grinded all the way up. Anyway, the buff for Season 18, the Season of Triune, this is definitely the wrong name. It should be called the Season of Skittles. You'll see why in a second. Anyway, these Oculus rings spawn all the time, and there's 3 different colors. There's purple for power, which gives you a 100% damage bonus. It's very noticeable. It's an incredible buff. The blue one is the resource cost reduction. This one didn't mean much to me on my Necromancer, but I'm sure in some classes and builds it will be helpful. And this is my favorite one, the cooldown reduction one. It reduces the cooldowns pretty quickly. And it allowed me to get my simulacrum back so quickly that if I had better gear on my character, it's not good because I just made it. You could potentially do things like drop Haunted Visions for one of the other amulets, but further testing is needed. But we were already running speed 100s, 7 hours into testing it. So incredible things are possible with these powers. A lot of people came by the stream today and they said, Rax, I really want to know your opinion on this. I read this. I don't know how to feel about it, or I think it's great, or I don't like it. I got to be honest with you guys. I was very, very happy with this after playing it for 10 straight hours. The reason why is with WoW Classic coming out, with Diablo Immortal and Diablo 4 and all the things that Blizzard is working on, it would have been very easy for them just to give us the Focus and Restraint buff or the Traveler's Pledge and the Compass Rose buff and call it good and not really make any changes. It seems like Blizzard actually tried to come up with something new, something that may change some of the builds, something that is just different. And the shifting of power from some of these patch notes is probably going to be pretty extreme. Not necessarily which classes are going to be the best. I think it's still going to be Wizard and Necro on the top, but at least they're bringing Barbarians up. At least a lot of the other classes that didn't have a chance are going to have a chance all of a sudden, I think, with some of these powers. So overall, I think it's fun to play, and it might be more than meets the eye. Because, for example, as I'll show you in a little bit in some gameplay of how these rings actually work, when I first start the Rift, I really want the cooldown reduction, the teal ring, because I want to bring my simulacrum back. Until we get a channeling pylon, and then I don't care anymore, now I want power. And let's say the channeling fades, but the boss spawns and my cooldowns aren't even close to being back up, and we're fighting the boss, and all of a sudden I can choose between teal or power. Well, I'll take power. In that case, even though my cooldowns aren't up, because my cooldowns aren't going to be up in time for the Guardian. So it's a little bit more cerebral than people may think. And a couple other things about these rings is every single person that attacks is spawning these rings. So in a 4-player game, you're going to see there's 4 of those rings all the time, plus the 2 Oculus rings that the 2 supports were using. And they can overlap all the time, and you can get buffs from multiple rings, but you can't get the same colored buff twice. So I guess it is possible to get power, resource, cooldown, and an Oculus. I didn't personally see that, but there were several rifts where I had 3 buffs at the same time. So that's all about the Skittles that are going to be spawning everywhere. Okay, let's move on to the items. Flavor of Time. Pylon effects last twice as long. This is insanely strong. Now, here's how it works. At least right now, this is how it works. If one person in a 4-player game is wearing the Flavor of Time, let's say it's the support Necro, if they click the pylon, everyone gets the double duration except for Conduit and Shield. So if the Z Necro clicks the pylon, we would get a double speed, double channeling, and double power. But only the Z Necro would get a double conduit. Only the Z Necro would get a double shield. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, if, let's say, I was a DPSer and I also chose to wear Flavor of Time and he clicked it, I would also get the double buff. Okay, so essentially one of the supports is going to have to wear this amulet. It's just way too strong to not use. Another thing that needs to be said about the Skittle rings and new amulets like this Flavor of Time is it dramatically buffs playing in a group. Because playing in a group, you're getting 4 rings instead of 1. You're more likely to get the one that you want or one that you can actually stand in. And also, the pylon effects last twice as long. I get that buff for 60% of the pylons without having to wear it. So that's one thing that needs to be considered is a lot of these changes favor group play. So that's going to be key to your success in Season 18 is playing with others. The Executioner, attacks will slay enemies with less than 10% health. It's essentially a frailty rune that you can cube. You could potentially give it to support characters. One thing, it does work. We tested this. You can give it to a follower. You can give it to a follower and they're going to execute the monsters for you. So that's a big deal. So this is probably best in slot weapon for, I think, it's got to be an Enchantress, right? I don't think a Scoundrel or a Templar could wear it. So Enchantress may be godly with the Executioner. Stone Gauntlets. Man, I wore a pair of these today. Getting attacked will slowly turn you to stone. You get more armor, but your movement speed is reduced and your attack speed is reduced. I'm telling you, it is so annoying to wear these gloves. There were a couple of people that wore them, and we were raging so hard in Discord. Maybe they're going to be good for a support, but the turning to stone thing, I mean, they're not kidding. It turns you to stone, and you can't do anything. Cool idea, though, but just wait till you put these gloves on. It's brutal. Echoing Fury, I didn't run into one of these, but I did see that slaying enemies engulfs the wielder in Fury, aka you get attack speed up 15%, up to 5 times. Let's see, that's what, 75% attack speed? I mean, that might be super godly. Further testing is needed, and if this actually works like this, could this be good for maybe Chantotos or some other build? I mean, 75% attack speed is pretty bonkers. I didn't run into it today on the PTR, but we'll see what comes of this. Now, Squirt's Necklace. I was wearing this most of the day. If you don't take damage, your damage is increased up to 100%, and damage taken is also increased. So you get hit harder in order to deal more damage. Probably a terrible idea for hardcore. Further testing is needed on this. I wore it all day. It seemed like it gave me a ton of damage pretty much all the time. When you're doing rat runs and the Z-Neck is teleporting with frozen lands and everything's frozen and you're dodging the electrified, you would think you have this up a lot of the time. But people brought up good points like Blood Rush, for example, costs health. And does that cause this to not activate, and what's the timing on it? I've heard 2 seconds, but I don't really know. There's no buff that I could see that to tell when this works, so we're going to need to know exactly how this works and when it works to see if it's worth it. But my feeling playing with it for many hours is it did give me a big damage buff when I was using it. Messerschmitt's Reaver, I just butchered that. Reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your skills by 1 second when you slay an enemy. So similar to Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, but in the weapon slot. So this might be good, again, with Messerschmitt's Reaver and with the Teal Skittle, the cooldown Skittle, and Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. You can get your cooldowns back, really, with any build. So even if you have to cube this. So lots of interesting things may come of these combinations. Mortix Brace, Wrath of Berserker gains the effect of every rune. Barbarians need so much help. I don't know if this is enough, and it says that they removed it, but now the power curve has increased significantly, so they're willing to give these to Barbs. I mean, Barbs needed this already, and I don't know if this is enough, but again, at least props to Blizzard for realizing Barbs, they need some help, man. Barb lives matter. Spite, I haven't really looked at this. Non-cleaving gargantuans gain the cleave. And chilling runes of the humongoid rune. Probably cool for witch doctors. I guess we'll see what comes of that. I use this gem. I have this gem maxed, actually, as I'll show you in a moment. I have it at level 99. And this is really, really a good idea. What I was thinking in Season 17 was, this lawn season is pretty cool. But once it goes away, people are going to have to wear the 2 rings to get it, right? And 2 rings is a tremendous thing to give up, especially for a class like Necro that is so reliant on their amazing jewelry, like Neluja's Evil and Chrisman's. I was wondering, is that just simply going to go away? They have solved this problem in such a unique and interesting way with this Legacy of Dreams gem. I have it at max, and it does finish at 375 at level 99. And so I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me read it to you. While you have no set bonuses equipped, every legendary item you have equipped increases your damage by 3.75% and reduces your damage taken by 2%. Max level 99. When you have it at 99, this is 375, and this is still 2. And at rank 25, it doubles this bonus. So essentially, in simple terms, what this gem is it's the lawn buff. It's exactly the same. And the price that you pay is a legendary gem slot instead of 2 rings. Now, of course, I'm thinking about the Necro here, because Necro's super OP. But as a Necro, I would way rather give up my Zaystone of Vengeance on my Rat than my 2 jewelry pieces, Neluja's Evil and Convention of the Elements, because there's no way you can give up Crispin's Sentence. And so Lawn is essentially still here, and I expect from playing today, only one day, but I expect, if no other changes are coming, for Lawn Necros and Lawn Rat runs to be the XP meta in Season 18. And I'm even going to say I think it's going to be stronger than it has been before. Further testing is needed. I'll be posting more videos and a ton of guides on all the best builds I can come up with, but this gem is a very, very cool way to keep it going while still costing something that isn't the 2 ring slots. What a great idea, really. They're buffing a lot of the crafted sets. Sages gets an extra belt, and you automatically learn it. Captain Crimson's. Now, this is used. This is used in the Z-Neck build, and you get 10% extra CDR. Keeping your Land of the Dead up has never been easier. So now you're going to be perfect cooldown without Born set with 69%. Now with the extra 10, it's going to be easy mode. And not to mention the cooldown rings, the cooldown skittle that also comes. So that's cool. Now, this 3-piece bonus is actually pretty interesting as well. Damage dealt and damage taken are increased and reduced by the total percentage of your cooldown and resource cost reduction. I mean, you can get those stats pretty high. So maybe 3-piece Captain Crimson's is a thing. Maybe 2-piece with a Ring of Royal Grandeur. I don't know. I mean, it's enough to be interesting. Let's put it that way. Guild's Authority. Haven't looked too much at this, but this is interesting. I don't know if this is actually going to make it into anything, but at least it got a buff, but I'm not sure if this fits anywhere. Kane's Destiny. Here we go. So when a Greater Rift Keystone drops, there's a 25% chance for an extra one to drop. Now, one thing about Greater Rift Keystones is when you do it in groups, everyone always gets the same amount of Keystones. So one thing that needs to be tested is when you get an extra one, does it drop for the other people? I have heard no, but I have not tested it myself. So that's another thing to explore. Or is it something like Magic Find where it's divided among the group? I've heard the answer is no. So It's probably no, but just something that we need to test. Another thing to keep in mind here is, although Torment 16 is very easy to clear, this may not be worth it, because if we're giving up way too much damage or way too much movement speed or something like that, this 25% chance might not be worth it. But like always, further testing is needed. I've only been able to play for about 10 hours, but interesting idea nonetheless. We'll see if it's worth it. What I'm going to do now, let's jump over to some clears that we did, and I'll show you the Skittles, and I'll wipe the audio and talk over it to show you a little bit in case you didn't get a chance to jump on yourself. All right, everyone, let me walk you through one of the rifts we were doing today and show you how everything works. So we're doing a normal rat run setup, and you can see right when we hit monsters, remember the Skittles proc on hit, not on kill, you can see the different colors. The dark blue is the resource cost, that's my least favorite. The pink, as we just saw a second ago, is the power, which is insane. And that teal one, my personal favorite, brings back all my cooldowns as I stand in them. It's very, very noticeable. When you're doing your runs, you're going to see how much of a difference it makes. So the Z-neck grabbed the conduit with the Flavor of Time. Remember, Flavor of Time doubles the duration of all pylons, but it does not double it for everybody for conduit or shield. So we all have a 30-second conduit, but he has a 1-minute conduit. But now we have a power, and now you'll see my power buff, that sword right there, will last for a full minute. I mean, since very good rat runs last between 2 and 3 minutes, it's essentially up for half of the rift. It's so strong, it's insane. The thing that kept blowing my mind about this is, keep in mind, these characters are only a few hours old. And I mean, we were level 1 with absolutely nothing. And we're only Paragon 600. I only have a single legendary gem in my jewelry. That's how bad my gear is. I have marquee gems with no augments. And we are absolutely trashing a GR84. So I'm expecting, if nothing is changing, that the power level of rat runs is going to be outrageous in Season 18, and I think other classes will be able to take advantage of these rings as well. As you can see there, some of the rings are overlapping there. There may be a spot that has 3 different powers at the same time. If the same colored rings are overlap, you don't get 2 of that bonus, but anything else that overlaps, anything unique, you can get multiple of them at the same time. I don't know, what do you guys think? Leave a comment, please throw me a like and a sub if you like this video, and I'm going to make guides on all the strongest builds in Season 18. Thank you very much.